back to Storytime with Dr. Soper, where I'm going to hold myself accountable and you get to listen to it as we go through different mental health books, ones that either are some of my favorites or brand new ones. And do I have a brand new one for you today? Today we are going to be reading a chapter out of Securing Sexuality, Emerging Issues and the Intersection of Sexuality and Technology, written by Dr. Stephanie Goerlich as well as her husband, J. Wolfgang Goerlich. And what we are going to be doing is we're going to be reading an excerpt from Chapter 8, which is Tech and Sex. Ready to get started? All right. As I'm reading, I want you just to listen closely. Think about any questions that are popping into your mind, any reactions that you're having. Let's get started, shall we? What makes a sex toy sex tech? Think back to when you first started reading this book, way back in Chapter 1, when we talked about the history of sexualized technology. You might have wondered at that time why we ended our timeline with video games. After all, the world of electronics has gotten much more expansive since Atari first gained a place on the home entertainment center. Part 1 of our history lesson ended there because we wanted to draw a clear line between what some people refer to as quote-unquote dumb electronic devices and modern internet-connected technologies. After all, we could play softcore adventure or pop a hardcore tape into our VHS players back in 1984, but what we could not do is what the experience with others living across town or around the world. Home internet services changed the game when it comes to sexual technologies and carved out space for the topic of this chapter, sex tech. Let's carry our historical timeline into the modern era and learn what differentiates a device that's been sexualized from technology that's developed for a primary sexual purpose. The Internet, 1980 to 2000. This proto-internet first went live in the 1960s, a tool for researchers at various universities to collaborate and share information, called the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. The Internet was a crucial component of America's plan for communication and survival after a nuclear attack by the USSR. Computers at the time were massive, taking up whole rooms, and it was vividly impractical to think that anyone outside of the small community of government and academic researchers would ever need access to it. This vision changed on January 1st, 1983, a date called the birth date of the Internet, when the ARPANET transitioned to a new universal communications protocol called the Transfer Control Protocol Internet Work Protocol, the language of our Internet today. As computers shrank in size and this universal language was established, the opportunity for folks at home to participate in this global conversation expanded. Bulletin board services with names like Renegade, Wildcat, Excalibur, and The Well allowed people to communicate asynchronously, but instantly for the first time ever. Some of the earliest users of this new community building tours were LGBTQIA+ folks and other erotic minorities. BBBSs were created for gays and lesbians to connect, for BDSM practitioners to find new friends, and for swinging and other lifestyle members to advertise their events. The Internet made it possible to build a social circle of people who understood you and your life, even if you were the only person like you in a 1,000-mile radius. The first mainstream internet service provider, Prodigy, debuted in 1984 and was wildly popular until it implemented a hardline, quote-unquote, family-friendly policy that banned many of the very marginalized users who rushed to use it. Within just 5 years, Prodigy's reign had ended and America Online, AOL, took the throne. Unlike Prodigy, AOL did not censor users. It allowed adult content and groups, but put systems in place to obfuscate access to these BBSs. But those who knew, and AOL became a massive platform for anyone who wanted to find others like them. Then, AOL introduced chat rooms and instant messenger. When access to sexualized content or queer and lifestyle spaces moved from hidden to direct, the inevitable backlash occurred. Time magazine and other outlets published hyperbolic articles exploring the internet's risk to children, and by 1995, the first web filters had been rolled out. The cat was out of the bag, though, and technology had progressed to the point where parents could no longer rely on keyword filters and website blockers, because webcams were coming and the direct live-streamed peer-to-peer conversations they facilitated were going to make content moderation much more difficult. Webcams and live streaming changed the face of the internet forever, where, in the early days of Prodigy and AOL, there were certain insider culture acronyms and proto-emojis and backdoor chat rooms. The ability to stream one's face and voice across the miles brought everyday communication and everyday life to the internet. The first webcam was set up in 1993 at Cambridge University so that researchers could monitor their coffee pot. No longer forced to walk down the hallway just to find the break room bereft of coffee, they could now peek via a black and white webcam set up facing the machine to ensure their time away would be rewarded with caffeine. 3 years later, in 1996, the first ever 24/7 live stream, the JennyCam, set up. Jennifer Ringley, today considered to be the world's first cam girl, allowed cameras to record her daily life and private behaviors and stream them live to her website for anyone to view. Quote, Ringley intentionally did not censor her daily life and left the camera rolling irrespective of what she was doing. This sparked various societal and ethical discussions around privacy, voyeurism, and the boundary between public and private spaces in the digital age. These debates continue today. It took 10 years, from 1994 to 2005, from the debut of the first commercially available webcam to the creation of YouTube, the world's largest content platformer. However, once YouTube had demonstrated that it was possible to host and share millions of videos, it was only 2 years, 2007, for Pornhub to launch. By 2019, 24 billion users around the world were uploading 1.36 million hours of explicit content to the internet on Pornhub alone. In the same way that asynchronous communication via BBS was replaced by active chat rooms and instant messaging, so too did the world's first porn consumers decide that they wanted a more interactive experience. OnlyFans launched in 2016, and thousands of live stream erotic platforms had emerged since then. But we're still talking about technology that has been used for sexual purposes, rather than technologies created for sexual use. Let's talk about new subsets of technology that emerged to capitalize on the intimate connections that an internet connection allowed. Teledildononics. And that's where we're going to stop today. What were your reactions going back in timeline? Were you someone who was around during the early stage of the internet? Is this brand new to you and you didn't even know the history of it? Do you remember the ding sound of dial-up internet and AOL? What is your relationship to technology? How has it changed over time? How is it impacting your relationships? How is it impacting even your relationship with yourself? This is a fantastic book that has a lot of great information and a lot of chronology and history in it. So this is one I am going to be so excited to continuously read. I am excited to see you next time, and until then, keep on reading.